Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Tactics Rebirth. I've kind of been a bit under the weather lately, so my posting has been delayed here and there, but I'm feeling pretty good now, so let's continue. I've gone from Zeklos Desert all the way over to Mandalia Plains, and I got in one encounter here and another here. And I did some grinding on Mandalia Plains. So let's take a look at our characters. So first of all, I've changed Ramza into a priest, and the reason for that is that he has the time mage levels that he needs, and he has 3 wizard levels. Now the bard requires 2 wizard levels, but it actually requires 4 levels in Summoner, and in order to get Summoner, you have to have 4 levels in Priest and 4 levels in Wizard. So, kind of counterintuitively, doesn't require the 2 and 2 that the Bard listing says, but actually 4 and 4. And then 4 again in Summoner. So, I'm not exactly sure how they work that out, that they give you these job level requirements that can't realistically be met. It's a little bit strange, but nevertheless, that's the situation, so I have to get 2 more levels in Priest and 1 more level in Wizard before we can move on to Summoner, and that's probably how we'll clear out Act 1. So if we look at his wizard abilities, they are much the same. And if we look at his time mage abilities, I took haste and I took don't move. Slow is also an option, but I find don't move more useful when you're dealing with, say, knights or other melee characters. Even it can be useful if you can get an archer, say, caught behind a wall or some other obstruction. So yeah, I find it a little bit more useful than slow, because if you could cast slow on the enemy at the very beginning of a battle, it would be very useful, but if you've already closed with the enemy, I don't really find slow to be that tactically useful. I haven't really used slow 2 yet in this game. I haven't actually leveled up a time mage to clear out all their skills. I'm kind of interested to try that though, so once we get just a little bit further in this act, I'm going to start putting up the voting polls, maybe straw polls, for what classes we're going to use in Act 2, and maybe we can consider whether we want to use Time Mage or not. I do remember that Meteor was pretty cool from the vanilla FFT, although it was maybe not the most practical skill in the game. Okay, so anyhow, that's Ramza. You can also see I picked up some new items for him. White staff. It's one of those staves that heals on hit, so you can use it to heal your characters. I kind of like them. They're quite useful for leveling as well, because if you have your characters beating on each other to get job points, and you can use white staff to go around and heal the characters that are beating on each other. As you can see, I still don't have a accessory equipped on Ramza, and the reason for that is that, you know, goblins remain a persistent threat going through Mandalia Plains, or pretty much any other area so far in Act 1. So I don't want to get my items stolen, and I'll look to buy some new accessories once we go to Igros. And then I will maybe equip those accessories once we get to Mandalia Plains proper, and then move into the next battle. The Oracle. I do actually have an Oracle skill now. I have Paralyze, which applies Don't Act. Don't Act is very good. I think usually gives you like 3 turns of the enemy not being able to do anything. Very, very, very good skill. My kind of go-to Oracle skills in my last playthrough, where I had, I think it was one of the Act 2 mercenary characters as an Oracle. Anyhow, I was using her, and I was using mainly Paralyze, Petrify, very, very good skill as well. It actually works quite frequently in this game, so Rebirth, so it's very powerful. The downside with Petrify is that you don't get the items or possibly abilities that you could grab off a character if you were, say, killing them outright, but you can still take them out of the battle with Petrify and maybe win a battle that way. So it's a good way of just getting a dangerous character off the battlefield. Life Drain, excellent skill. As you know, some people have pointed out in the Something Awful Let's Play thread, it was very good in vanilla FFT as well, because it does a percentage of the enemy health and damage, and what that means is it's really Oracle's only effective skill against boss characters, against Lucavi. So yeah, I mean, it does big damage to those characters, like say like 400 HP damage. It makes the Oracle a very viable class for fighting enemy bosses. But anyway, this character doesn't have any of that yet. It just says Life Drain. Paralyze. I was kind of stuck on whether to get Life Drain or Paralyze, and the reason why I went with Paralyze is because this character already has white magic, so life HP isn't really a huge issue for her at the moment. And then yeah, she's got the Flame Rod equipped, which is one of those rods that has a chance to cast like fire on the enemy when you hit them. So it does like 6 damage on hit, but then it does like possibly an extra 50 damage over that if the fire spell triggers. So it's pretty good. You can get like quite a bit of value out of that. Deneb has finally made it to the wizard. I think she still does not have a level 2 spell though yet. Yes, she just has the basics. Why get Fire, Bolt, and Ice? I think there are some situations in which a particular element will do extra damage. Particularly Ice. I mean, it just does so much damage against goblins, and you might be able to get away with just using Ice. I haven't really tried that before though, so yeah, maybe choosing Ice and then just going for Ice 2 would have been a better strategy. And also as a Flame Rod. Redford hasn't upgraded his equipment yet because we haven't yet reached Igros, which is the place where he would be able to buy that. We will buy some for him before we go and do this next mission. And he does have Shield Break now, and I find Shield Break to be the most useful knight skill because knights with shields in this game are serious pain. Like, they have a really high chance to guard. So if you can break those shields, it actually is a serious tactical advantage, whereas in vanilla FFT I found knights to be kind of just like, oh yeah, whatever, steamroll past them. Or over them. Judy also doesn't have new equipment yet, but she will be getting some. And then, yeah, I grabbed Charge plus 3 and Charge plus 5. I thought about making this character into a thief, but honestly, I think she just does so much damage as an archer, I can't really justify switching to thief. Like, it would be good to have a thief, just so that I could maybe steal something from Bigraph or one of the other elites. But yeah, I just think I would be reducing my damage potential so much, and given that I've only grinded like a few times in this act, I feel like I don't really have the luxury of taking her out of the equation. So I think I'm going to stick with her as an archer and see how that goes for me. Lucas is still an archer, and Delta I've upgraded to a knight. As you can see, he doesn't have any equipment. We're gonna have to buy some for him in Igros. Alright, so let's move on to Igros, and I believe we are going to get some story. So Delita is kind of trying to take one for the team, be the fall guy, but Ramza just gets irritated by this because, again, he's concerned with his honor as a Bailu. We might have expected to get a hero's welcome, going back to Igros, having saved the Marquis, but actually we get a pretty frosty welcome from Isidorg. So Algus doesn't recognize a well-dressed man right away because he's not from Galleon. He's actually from the east, in Limbury, and only notices from the other characters. That's such a nice touch in staging the scene and animating the characters just for that purpose. It shows a real attention to detail. Looks to me as though Larg, this is Prince Larg, is looking towards Daisadar here. Mentions Balbanes. From the sound of it, it appears that Larg and Daisadarg were actually the ones pulling the strings on Gustav, and the ones who encouraged him to kidnap the Marquis. Now, Ramza's actions in rescuing the Marquis and then turning him over to the Hokuten Knights may have created the opposite impression at the court, that in fact Argan Daisadarg did save the Marquis from the Death Corps, and this gave them some bargaining position in the maneuverings at court. And of course they're talking about the king's poor health and maneuvering for power in the period before he dies. Alright, let's check out the bar. Queen is certain to clash with the elder statesman over his guardianship. Now, if we go look at Larg's bio, he is the brother of Queen Revelia. And I love how Queen Revelia has a portrait, but Ramza's mother doesn't have a portrait. It just I don't know, it's a little bit strange to me considering Revelia never appears in this entire game. Anyhow, she's the one in charge of ruling the kingdom. And Delarg is allied with her faction at court. Right, so let's do some shopping. Those knights equipped. But, stuff. I did some grinding. Okay, so how many battle boots do we have? We have 0. I've got to change that. So I think I'm going to buy... I can only afford 1 pair of battle boots. And I will buy 1 small mantle. Alright, let's get these equipped. So I will equip Ramza with small mantle. And equip Redford with battle boots. I feel like Judy could really use some battle boots as well. It's really irritating. Now remember that the Oracle has an automatic defense up skill, so that's a big help for her. Oh, I also need to buy new equipment. Oh no, I need to buy new equipment for my archers. Oh, it's not good at all. Alright, let's see what we can sell. What can we sell here? For the... Okay, I think maybe we can outfit archers now. Best... Ooh, longbow. So sure about that. I don't think I want to use the longbow. What's the damage? Yeah, damage is seriously reduced, -20. Actually, I don't think that she needs that. And I've made a mistake because she actually will use the same armor that the other characters will use. The non-knight characters. Yeah, see, like Red Hood and all that. Well, I can at least cook the feather hat. And... leather vest. Yeah. Can't equip the leather outfit. And... feather hat. Leather outfit. And maybe I can give Algus a shield. I think she's got one. Yeah, she's got one. Algus needs one. Let's see what... Oh, I see. I can buy a buckler. Well, that's good. Oh, I see. The -20 there wasn't their damage, it was their evasion. So let's see here. The bowgun has an attack power of 4, and the longbow has an attack power of 5. Oh, okay. Okay. Because usually I'm used to the crossbows having considerably higher damage than the longbows, the curved bows. Alright. curved bow. A bow is kind of curved by definition. I don't really know what you call those. I used to be in archery, but I was just familiar with saying, you know, oh, the recurve bow or the compound bow versus the crossbow. I've never really fired a crossbow myself. I'm sure that's tremendously interesting too, but... But yeah, I don't really know what you call those normal bows versus a crossbow. Is it like a general category? Attacking ability. Upper number shows physical attacks, lower number shows... Okay. Oh, I see. So this is the damage that's derived from your weapon itself, and then maybe this is like total revised points. So this is like after mods of them. Okay. I'm sorry this is taking so long. The reason why I'm going through all of this is just because we had that storyline segment at the beginning there in Igros, and I didn't want to miss that, or create just a separate video for that purpose alone. And then before we got here, we had to go through so many random encounters. And we may have to go through a random encounter on the way to the fortress we're going to. So it's possible that this will be a very, very long video. I apologize for that. Okay, so right, okay, so our evasion is decreased. Well, I'm gonna gamble on the longbow. I'm gonna see how it turns out for us. The nice thing about it is it can go over characters, but I believe it doesn't have as much range as a crossbow does. Okay. Good. Alright, I think that's it. So, let's save. We're not going to worry about the armor on our characters, our archers, at this moment, because we don't really have the money to buy new armor anyway. So we're going to the Thieves' Fort, a small floating fort, once a fisherman's shelter, now a thieves' hideout. Oh, lucky. Lucky. So, I should have actually saved on Mandalay Plains in case we die here. It isn't typically a difficult mission, but as I said at the Zeklos Desert fight, that is also not typically a difficult mission. Really, the difficult thing you have to contend with here are the thieves that will cast Steel Heart on you. Okay, so yeah, I could play the Oracle. Actually, you know what? I think that's a good idea because Ramza has black magic, and the Oracle has Don't Act, has Paralyze, and that could be very valuable for us in this mission. Okay, let's see how it goes. For characters, we're at capacity. I feel like we should do this because she does have the defense bonus. Thieves' Fort. We're introduced to a new character here, Miluda. I just find these little comments so, like, I don't know, emotional. Makes me sympathize with the Death Corps so much, like, they're willing to fight to the death for their dignity. So Miluda is a bit of a realist here, and She's talking about her brother. I wonder who that... certain idealistic deathcore member. Thanks, Elvis. It's really, really important information. So we just have to defeat Maluda. Difficulty is that there are a lot of thieves, and we have a lot of female characters, so Steelheart is a major problem for our unit. Okay, Delita is going to charge in as usual. At least he has some better equipment this time. It's not totally useless. I think, yeah, actually the longbow was the right choice here. Because, can exploit the terrain to some extent, as Algus is doing. Alright, what is this priest going to do? She's probably going to cast Haste or Protect. This character's going to move, so that I figured, I think, yeah, she moved into range so that she would also gain the benefits of that. Okay, so Paralyze, let's see what we can do with it. We may be able to get these two characters here. That would be very good. What's our turn order look? Cure 2. I thought she would try to buff them, but it seems that she's just curing from Algus's attack, which is not really going to be terribly consequential here, I think. In the last battle at Zeklos Desert, I was really foolish in kind of overcommitting my caster units and getting my chemist killed. But that's because, you know, I just wasn't really used to the change in the levels, because in the beginning of the game it's really good to put your chemist out front so that they can get more job points and increase your damage potential per turn. But that's really not true anymore, so I hope that my Oracle isn't in terrible danger here. I could cast a buff on my characters with the Oracle because she does have white magic, but I feel like it's more valuable at this point in time to shut down their capacity to either charm me or heal each other or whatever. So what's our... Okay, so look at this. Look at the Oracle's, you know, chance to affect Don't Act, which is a very powerful skill. 87 and 94. What about this character? 64. Okay, so that's considerably lower. Maybe that character's not an elite because we're facing Maluda. So anyway, we're gonna try using it here, and hopefully that'll work out for us. And if the turn order works out the way I'm hoping it does. Oh wait, actually, let's take a look here. No. So we're going to have Paralyze trigger after Cure 2. So hitting either of those characters at this point in time is going to be totally useless. All it will really accomplish is give our character some JP, because Cure 2 will certainly take care of, you know, whatever damage I can do with my knight this round. So I think I'm going to put him over here so that he can maybe move into position to attack the thief up above next turn. I will defend with him. And Ramza, I think we do with Ramza. If I cast a spell that will trigger after Cure 2 fires, can be useful, so I will do that. And then I'm going to exploit the terrain here. Let's see. If I charge +5, so those characters are going to move. Lowell and Judd. Leon. Owl. God. So I have a feeling she's gonna get Steel Heart inflicted on her. Oh no. Oh, I guess it's because that priestess is in the way. And it was Lowell and Judd are the only ones who acted. So there is a chance I could kill. Oh, but then that's going to fire. The ice spell is going to fire on her, so that probably will kill her anyway. In which case, firing here is not such a bad idea. Okay, let's give it a try. So here we go, Cure 2. It's no joke. Okay, here we go. Paralyze. Come on, come on. Don't act. Don't act. Excellent. Or. Oh. It's less damage than I expected, honestly. Just go be useless. You do that. Oh, he's gonna go for an attack. Oh, Steel Helmet. Right. Just gonna annoy me. See? There it is. Oh! Oh, right! That worked out fantastically. Steel Helmet. There. Red Hood. Oh, those thieves. Here comes Maluda. She's probably gonna use a break skill. Yep. Skill break. Just working over Delta. Wasting all my money. Sigh. This sigh. Cure 2. Let's just burn through all our mana. I really don't think Cure 2 is necessary, but she probably doesn't have Cure 1. Sometimes the enemy characters work out. Wow, nice crit from Delta. Yeah, I was just saying that sometimes the characters in these battles have very limited sets of skills, including, like, say, having Cure 2 but not having Cure 1. Alright, so Maluda is out here, but I feel like it would be best to kill this character. So I'm going to gamble and hope that this triggers. It didn't trigger. Damn it. Alright, so he is going to definitely come up here and use Shield Break on her. Until we break her shield, she's going to be difficult to take out. So, Lowell. Who's Lowell? It's not Lowell. Alright, so I think I'm going to try to just finish off... Yeah, that'll do it. Finish off Leon. And... move Ramza here. Although, that could get in the way of an archer shooting her. Although, yeah, again, the archer's really not going to be of much use until we break her shield. Actually, I'm not really sure how that works out, given that she has Concentrate. So... just don't want Ramza to get one hit or something. Okay, I'm gonna move over here. Let's be safe. I'll be sorry. Okay, so it's 100%. Let's see what I can do. Lowell, Leon. Alright. Do it. I'm useless. Love Don't Act. Such a good skill. Paralyze. She's got Regenerator, which is a priest counter skill. It's not bad, especially if you have a lot of life like she does. Human, just like you. No difference among us other than our families. Have you ever been hungry with only soup to eat for months? Why do we have to suffer? Because you nobles deprive us of our right to live. Human? Ridiculous! From the minute you were born, you had to obey us. From the second you were born, you are animals. Says who? That's nonsense. Who decided all this? It's the will of heaven. Heaven? God would never say such things. In his eyes, all are equal. He never let this happen. Never. Animals have no God. Oh, Algus. Such an asshole. I think I translated this once and I was kind of going through the script and I wrote it as, for animals, there is no God. Anyway. No matter how you translate, it's a classic line of Algus being this upper class aristocratic scum. Shocked into silence at a loss of words. Is she really our enemy? Question. Fact of the matter is, she is, because she's going to go kill my archer. Oh shit. Oh no. That dash. Okay, Lowell I think is effective now. He's gonna steal something. Oh no, he's gonna do some damage. Okay. Go Dilita. Oh, thank you. This is a useful way to use that high potion. Alright. Let's see, do I need to use white magic? I feel like I don't. I feel like it's not necessary. I assume that she is immune to paralyze. No, it's not. Okay, that could be an option. I feel like it's better to paralyze her than to hit this character. Although I could be wrong about that. Let's see if this character is Steel Heart. Check. Okay, well, in that case, I think I am going to use Paralyze on her. I mean, it's fine. So, wait here. Is active, so I don't want to walk in. Oh wait, the Oracle skills do not trigger on us, but I do think I'm actually going to first see what kind of yeah, I think I'm going to try to keep her out of the equation with Knight. Redford. So, let's see. So, use ice to do that. Also use ice to, yeah. so if she's paralyzed, then she's kind of temporarily not an issue. I would like to maximize the amount of job points I'm getting out of this. So I will use Ice 2 on this guy. And I think we'll move Ramza over. That's not good. No, I will just leave him where he is. Okay, so I feel like the ice skill isn't going to kill this character, so I think I'm just going to go straight for damage. She's not in a position where she can hit Maluda. And I will try to get her into a position where she could hit. Okay, here goes Paralyze. Oh yeah. Great. That's another card to take out. Excellent. It's just down to her. Can't do anything. He's going to get that regen bonus, but it would be nice. Would be nice if I could get some skills, or even just items from these characters. So I'm not going to kill her right away. I might regret that decision, but no, Algus is just going to keep beating on her, so she's going to, like, her life will stay reasonably low, even though I'm not attacking her. Wait, maybe I can do something useful. How much MP do I have left? 10. So I can only use one spell. I'm going to save that in case I need to raise somebody unexpected. It's not likely, but it could happen. So what I'm trying to do here is block her from taking the crystal from these characters' corpses. Because sometimes the enemies will do that just to regain life, and they'll screw you out of the chance to get an ability. Okay, so here goes Algus again. Alright, Crystal. Crystal and Crystal. Cool. Let's see what we can get here. What's our turn order looking like? Redford, Ramza, Delita. Okay. I think I will go for one with Redford and one with Ramza. I'm hoping I can get some decent steel skills off this. And I'm just trying to think of what characters would realistically be able to use steel, that is, like, by being at the front lines. Definitely don't want Delita to take that, but I do have two characters for him, so it should be fine. Get ability. Steel helmet. Use that at some point. Okay. Like, yeah, steel helmet is the best option here. And Ramza or the Oracle might want to take that crystal. Let's see, how much life does she have? Ooh, that's really bad damage. Wow. You must have terrible Zodiac compatibility with her. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. So that's one of those instances where using one element happens to be more effective than another. Relatives gonna get a piece. Okay. Shoot. It's 78 life, so I'm just gonna go. I'm going to hit her again. First +3. Yeah, that seems like about the damage range. Though I'm not too sure. Charge +1 might be better. Okay, do that. See if Algus can even hit her. Sure he can. Here he goes. Okay, crystal. And yes. Excellent. Good ability. Cure 2. Parrot. Sweet. Just doing this for drop points. Not an issue. Okay, so yeah, I got a fair number of skills from that. I could have got more, but I think it went pretty well. The mission in general went pretty well. So, Neluda may appear to be dead, but actually she's not. Not one of those characters who gets introduced one level and then dies the same level. Not sure if there are any of those in this game. Go ahead, kill us then. We're just animals. Kill us. Yes. So this is kind of conflicting with the honorable knight story that Ramza was taught by his father and his family. I feel like Algus would fit in on Dragon's Den. Can't coexist. There can be only one. Belita is it's kind of on Ramza's side in this issue. He's human just like us. Sympathy with despicable creatures. You are my enemy as long as you belong to the Beowulfs. Yes. Don't forget it. So, she's sticking to the vendetta sort of logic of class struggle. Doesn't believe it. What's wrong with you guys? Come on! Show what's up. While Igros, Capital, Leon, Wolf, Castle. There's another new character, Ulagros. Don't fuck Spellbag. That translation has always kind of irritated me. Hey, anybody there? Don't know about that one. Teta has been kidnapped. This is going to be bad. I have a feeling. Alright. Let's take a brief look. See if we've got any new characters to take a look at. Oh, we can take a look at Wygraph's profile. Age 30. Wygraph Foals. Leader of the Death Corps that terrorizes the Galleon territory. Former leader of the Knights of Death. At the end of the 50-Year War, the Knights of Death were formed due to the lack of military strength. Volunteers were assembled to make up the group of knights, active during the latter years of the war, but after their defeat they ceased to exist and were disbanded without any compensation. So, maybe similar to some of those Korean War veterans who kind of got screwed because they weren't quote-unquote in a war, they were in a UN peacekeeping operation and didn't get the same recognition as regular soldiers would in a war that was openly declared. There's really nothing new there. All we really know about Elmdor is that he's a handsome fellow, terror of his enemies, object of adoration by the women of the land, and is also a devout follower of the church with the qualifications to become a pagan examiner. But, current whereabouts are unknown. Gustav. His reckless actions such as robberies and rapes at seized towns. Problems within the Knights arose. He was forced out and eventually joined the Knights of Death. So he was a Hoken Knight, and then became a member of the Knights of Death, and presumably that is why he joined Wygraph's Knights Death Corps. Oh my, the Wygraph thing continues. So 7 years younger than her brother, Billy de Foles, blood sister of the Death Corps leader. She was the Wygraph's assistant in the Knights of Death during the 50 Years' War. And continues to be important in the Death Corps. Great. Well, that will be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. As I said, I'm kind of getting over a cold, so my uploading might be a little bit sporadic, but should get back to normal soon.